Hello and welcome to PowerBuilder TV. In this webinar, we will look at how to develop mobile apps with Appeon Mobile. Today's presenter, Armin Mazda, is CEO and President of Appeon Corporation. Armin has worked with PowerBuilder Technologies since 2000 and has served various roles in Appeon, including product management, business development, and operations. Armin is a graduate of the Haas School of Business at UC Berkeley and holds 5 U.S. patents in the area of rich Internet application technologies. Welcome, Armin.
Hi, Liz. Thank you so much for having me today, and thanks to the audience for joining in. Today I'm going to talk about how to develop Appeon mobile apps using our new product. It's currently in beta and will be available officially released on April 30th of this year, so just a few weeks away. Now, what you should be seeing right now is PowerBuilder, and Appeon Mobile is compatible with any of the recent versions of PowerBuilder, going all the way back to PowerBuilder 9 and up to the latest version 12.5. And you'll see that with Appeon Mobile, really we're not changing how people develop applications. You're still doing development in PowerBuilder, and what Appeon adds is this toolbar right here in the PowerBuilder IDE. This toolbar provides a set of tools for configuring and deploying your PowerBuilder project as a native mobile application that can run on iOS in the first version, and in the very near future running on Android as well as Windows Phone. So what we're going to go ahead and do is first take a look at a few of Appeon's demo applications, and then I'm going to show you how you can configure your own new project and deploy that to an iPad. But first we'll start with the demo applications, which are pre-installed with the product, and it's a great way to make sure that Appeon is working properly, as well as to quickly see something working on your iPad or iPhone. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and run this particular demo application, and you can see it's got a nice login screen. We spent a few minutes of graphic design to redo that. We've taken the icons and the toolbars, we've updated those, we've added this little like a portal splash screen. And so, you know, we haven't taken this as far as it could go, but just even a few minutes we've basically modernized or beautified the PowerBuilder application. So, you know, we hear a lot of people that say, hey, PowerBuilder looks outdated, and it looks outdated because you're using icons from 1995 and you're using buttons from 1995. So all of that can be modernized with a little bit of attention to that, which will also benefit your mobile applications as well. So we'll go ahead and open up a few windows here. This is a traditional PowerBuilder application with an MDI style interface, and it has toolbars and tooltips, and we'll go ahead and open 3 windows here. You can see the toolbar, the tooltips, you can see the window menu, and we're able to switch between the windows using the window menu or by clicking on any of these. So the graph is available in different styles, and we can close that. And we have a master detail data window here, so as we click on the master record, the customer name, we can see the orders below, or we can use the tree view to navigate through the orders. We're also able to resize a column and drag and drop. And lastly, we'll take a look at is this particular window here for placing a new order. I'm going to select the customer, and this is a response window. So in PowerBuilder, it's not going to let you click on anything else until you respond or you cancel. So we'll go ahead and click that. We're able to add or remove items, and here we have drop-down data windows. When I click in the product name field, you can see a scroll bar, and it's a 2-column, multiple row data window. And I have a couple of items added to my cart with a total of $72. Now, if I accidentally exit my application, it's going to ask me if I really want to do that. I have a transaction pending, and I'm going to lose my changes. So no, I don't want to save the changes. So let's go ahead and get that app deployed. So all we're going to do is take this icon right here, It's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th icon, and you can always mouse over on any of these icons to see what they are. So we click the Appeon deploy, and the Appeon deploy is going to show you the list of different applications that are configured in Appeon. And so if you have your own application, these are our demos, but if you have your own, you would simply configure that, and then it'll appear in this drop-down, and you'll be able to deploy it. And I'm running a local environment, so I have a SQL Anywhere database, I have the Microsoft IS and .NET Framework, as well as Power Builder all on one machine. But these could be separated in a real production environment. And you're not limited to SQL Anywhere. SQL Anywhere is used only by our demo applications. You could use any database, any of the Sybase databases, the wonderful SAP HANA. You can use the SQL Server, Oracle, open source MySQL. Pretty much you can do anything. So what's happening here is right now it's exporting out the SRDs, SRWs, and all that good stuff out of Power Builder, exporting it out. In the second step, it's generating both web and mobile files. So you're going to get a web and a mobile application. With Appeon, you develop once, you can deploy everywhere. And the third step, it copied it over to the local IIS server. So we're going to click Finish. And the first thing we're going to do is run the web version. And you always want to run the web version with the beta, because it could be possible that your code contains what we call unsupported features. There are certain Power Builder objects or code that's not compatible with Appeon for web or mobile deployment. And so if it's not compatible, you'll find that on the web it's not working properly. But if on the web it is working properly, then you don't have any unsupported features. And so if you find on the mobile it's not working, it's very likely it's a beta bug. So that way you can distinguish, is it really an Appeon issue or is it an issue with your own code? So our web product's been on the market since 2002. It's been through the hands of thousands of companies worldwide. They've really used it. And you can imagine it's been fine-tuned and really, really stable now. So you can see we have the same login screen, and I'm going to click the login. So that's what I was saying. What you see is what you get. If in Power Builder it doesn't look great, it's also not going to look great on the web. So here we have the same splash screen. We have the same menu, multi-level. We have the same toolbars with tooltips. It's got all the same icons. It's going to carry it over. It's really a spitting image, and a lot of people get confused and think this is Citrix. It's not. This is a true web application running natively in the browser. It's not your Power Builder app running on a Windows server as a desktop app and then sending the image, essentially like our web meeting today. That's also Citrix. And Citrix is not going to scale, and it's not going to give you the benefits of a web application. So what you're getting here is true web. Now we'll go ahead and open the same windows and briefly take a look and make sure all that functionality is working. Because as I mentioned, if it's not working on the web, it's definitely not going to work on mobile. We can use the same window menu to switch between the different windows or click on any of these to gain focus. We can take a look at the graph. That's working. That's very good. Here we'll take a look at the master detail, and you'll notice there's no page refreshes, and that's because Appeon uses Ajax technology, which allows us to eliminate that and make it much more interactive. We can use a tree view, and that all is working. And again, the same icons we had in the Power Builder tree view is also appearing on the web. And let's check our resizing. That's working, and the drag and drop is also working very well. So now our last thing we'll look at is this particular new order window. If you recall, this was a response window, so also on the web you're not able to click on anything. You need to respond or cancel. So we'll go ahead and click that. Add or remove items, and that's working great. And the drop-down data window with the 2 columns and multiple rows. And this order is at $36 based on what I added. And let's go ahead and accidentally close out our IE tab, and you'll notice it's asking if you want to save changes. Now, if this was a typical ASP.NET web app, and you type something in on a form and you closed the wrong tab accidentally, your work is gone. So now let's go ahead and run this on a real iPad. Since we're doing a webinar today, I'm using a product called Air Server that installs on Windows and is essentially like Apple TV. It allows you to share the video stream from your real iPad, except instead of going to your TV, the Air Server puts it on your computer. So you should be seeing my iPad, and this is a real iPad. It's not a simulator. I know it's running inside of a window, but it's really broadcasting my screen. And I'm using my finger to navigate my iPad 4, but Appeon is compatible with iPad 2, 3, or 4, or mini. You don't have to use the latest iPad 4. It's also compatible with iPhones 4, 4S, and 5. So it's pretty much working with everything. Now I have the Appeon workspace installed on my iPad, and you should be seeing the Appeon workspace. There's two modes to deploy Appeon. One is you can make it a standalone mobile app and just put it up on the App Store, or if you have a enterprise certificate, you could distribute it directly to your users privately, or use, for example, something like Sybase's Afaria, which is the mobile device management server, and that can deploy apps for you. Or you could use Appeon's workspace, and this is a very elegant solution. It allows you to bypass having to upload things to the App Store, let you bypass having you to get approved by Apple as a developer, and let you bypass having a Macintosh to compile the app. So I'm going to go ahead and run the same application. I click the icon, and there you see the same login screen. So we'll go ahead and log in, and you're looking at MDI. Now this MDI is a little bit different than what we saw in Web and Power Builder, because we've adapted automatically the MDI and controls and various things so that it makes sense on a touch device. The way you interact with your finger is going to be different than a mouse pointer, which is much smaller, more precise, and also on the iPad and iPhone you have a smaller screen space, so we've really figured out how to maximize this and make it user-friendly. So the top is my MDI frame bar, and the menu is right here. When I tap that icon, you can see you get your menu, and it still has multi-level menus. You can expand things out, you know, and you can swipe through it. So that's how you go through the menus. All the options expand, and you just swipe up and down. So we'll go ahead and open up the same three windows. Now, we're the first company in the world doing MDI on an iPad. And so we'll go ahead and open these, and we'll get the same three windows. And so we'll see we have the same three windows on the iPad, and this icon here is your window menu. It shows you which windows you have open, allows you to minimize, maximize, or close them, and you can tap another window to switch. So just like the window menu we had, we're able to switch and multitask. And this is so much better than the way regular iPad apps are built with an SDI style, because that feels like web pages to me, and it forces you to do things very sequentially, and you can't really use the iPad to work. It's more like you're reading things and consuming. But this makes it a lot more multitasking and interactive. Now, we also have the same toolbar. And so, again, we modified the toolbar. That would clutter the screen if it went across. If you have a toolbar, this icon will appear. If you don't, this icon will not appear. And it lists your various toolbar icons, and there's been a little bit padding added so that your finger can click the icon. And then the windows actually, you can right-click on the corner and get a minimize, maximize, and close. So let's go ahead and go to this window here. We can take a look at the pie, for example. We can also pinch and zoom. I'm using my finger. The Power Builder app had a resize event coded, and since the resize event was coded in the window in Power Builder, when you pinch and zoom, it'll resize. Also for the dates, if we click here, we got the spinny control. So that's really cool. Appeon's automatically adapting these things so that it makes sense for the iPad and iPhone. Now we'll go ahead and take a look at this screen here, and you'll notice there's no scroll bars, and that's because this is all optimized for touch. You'll be swiping. So you just swipe with your finger to go up and down. You can go left and right, but also you can go diagonally. which you can't really do in Power Builder or the web because you can't move both scroll bars at the same time. And we'll take a look at the tree view. That's been modified, and you'll see the nodes have got this larger icon, and then we have these labels around the text, this little like box. And that makes it much easier to click on the nodes and expand them, as well as clicking on the various items. And then we can also obviously click on an item directly in the master data window to get the details. So resizing, we'll go ahead and tap the header, and you get this little ball, and you can drag that with your finger. Again, the way you normally do that in Power Builder would not work with your finger. This has all been optimized automatically by Appeon, and we can do drag and drop. So I'll go ahead and close this window now. And here's this window. We'll go ahead and click Select Customer. There's the same response window. I can scroll through the data window, select the item, and I can click Add or Remove. And we have drop-down data windows. Again, there's no scroll bar. You would swipe through the data window, tap an item, and now let's say I accidentally exit the application. And there's a couple ways you can exit. The first is in the window menu. If you click the X next to the MDI frame, that'll exit. The other is if in your file menu you've coded an exit function, that would obviously exit too. So if I accidentally exit the app, it's going to ask me if I want to save my changes, just like the Power Builder app and the web app. No. And so now you go back to the workspace. So what we're going to do next is go ahead and make a change to this application. I'm going to open this the new order window, and we'll do something really quick and simple. And we'll add this button right here, and we'll make it say make red. I don't want to code anything too long since our time is limited today. And it's simply going to change the background color of this window when the button is clicked. It's going to make it red, and that's why I call the button make red. So I've made that change. I'm going to run it in Power Builder to make sure it works. We log in, open the new order window. There's exactly where I put the button in the painter, and when I click it, it makes the screen red. Excellent. So we'll go ahead and deploy this out. I click the deploy button, and Appeon has both an incremental and a full deploy. So if you do a full deploy, it's going to redeploy the entire application, and if you do an incremental, it's just going to deploy the one object that has changed. So, and you'll see that the time it takes Appeon to do a deploy, I'm doing a full deploy here, but the time it takes is the same as what it would take in Power Builder to do a full build or an incremental build. And so I've deployed the app, and again, we're going to run on the web first. Always run your application with the beta on the web to make sure the web version is working properly and that your code doesn't have any unsupported features. So we have the same window, and you can see just like in Power Builder and where we put the button in the painter, you have the same location, same size, same font, and when you click it, it makes the screen red. So now what we're going to do is go ahead and go back to my window that's showing my iPad, and I simply, in Appeon Mobile, you don't have to do anything. The application is always synced with the server. Whenever you tap the icon, it's going to first connect to the server, and it's going to automatically check to see if there is an updated app. If there is, it's going to incrementally update. So unlike typical iOS apps, which the user has to update it, Appeon apps are always up to date. And that's very important because if you've made a change your data window, your database columns, you could have a serious issue if it's not updated properly for all the users. So here you'll see I have the exact same button. Obviously the look is a little bit different. This is our iOS style buttons, but it's in relation to the window and other controls, it's the same size and same location, and when you click it, it turns the screen red. So I have a single code set that's running on mobile, web, and of course Power Builder. Develop one time, deploy everywhere. Now, you know, you don't have to build an app that runs everywhere. You could do something that's very optimized for the iPhone or a particular device. So here there's another demo app. You guys can check this out. It's called Mobile Order. Today I don't have an iPhone with me, so I can't run it, but you'll see that this app was designed to be very small, and it works very well on the iPhone. So you can go ahead and try that out. And the other thing I want to remind you is you don't have to do an MDI style application. There's another demo app called Appeon Mobile Demo, and what this is a conference scheduler for the SAP conferences like TechEd and PBDC, and the data is from last year. We can obviously update it this year once that information is available. And this is a data window right here that you're looking at. So yeah, data windows can do a lot more things than just forms and grids. You can be very creative and make it look like this. And if we had more than two items in a data window, we get a third item. And when I click here, I get a calendar. Again, this is a data window. And clicking on the calendar, I will get the different sessions, and you can scroll through the sessions for the day. Clicking on any item, and this is a data window telling you which room, what time, etc. At the bottom, you can expand this out, and you can make a note about the session. We also have a photo and video. This is not going to work in PowerBuilder, but it uses the iOS APIs that Appeon provides, which are simply function calls. PowerBuilder functions that you call. You don't need to be an iOS expert. You only need to know how to write PowerBuilder code and call Appeon functions, and it'll allow you to leverage the photo and video capabilities or access the gallery folder of the iOS device. And then we can go ahead and click this icon here, the star. It's orange now, which means this is one of my favorites. So if I go back and click on my favorites, you'll see all my favorites are remembered. So there's no menu per se, a traditional menu. There's no toolbars. There's no MDI windows. The navigation below is these different icons. And you can see all of the graphics and design is very, very modern. So again, you can build anything with PowerBuilder. So now what we're going to do is, now you've seen something working, let's go ahead and talk about how do we configure and convert your own application. So what I have here in this workspace, let me close this out.